Laura struggled up to the base, panting, and suddenly realized the plane's wing was ready to drop. Laura cautiously stood up, took a deep breath, and made a dash to the side. Just before the wing fell, she grabbed the body of the plane. Don't let her size fool you. But inside her was a powerhouse of potential and explosive strength. Laura finally managed to relax a bit. She tried to use some metal in the cabin to cut the ropes on her hands, but just when she thought she was in the clear, the plane started tilting due to the loss of wing support. Laura hurriedly cut the ropes, grabbed the threshold before the plane fell, but due to exhaustion, she tumbled onto the plane just as the metal she clung to was about to quit on her. Laura spotted the parachute pack right above her and lunged for it, yanking it open at the last possible second, soaring into the trees. She felt a sharp pain. A metal spike was in her abdomen. Gritting her teeth, she pulled it out and stumbled to the beach. The beach was wet and eerily silent, and it hit Laura that she was on a deserted island, completely cut off from the world. Help was not on the way. Laura dozed off against a rock, only to be jolted awake by a tiny sound, quickly hiding behind the boulder. Curiosity piqued. She cautiously peeked out to discover, to her surprise, that the jungle assassin sent by Matthews was hot on her heels. The assassin, Rocket, had her in a chokehold, and in a moment of sheer desperation, Laura took a bite out of his arm. He let her go in surprise. Laura struggled as Rocket choked her. New death, she grabbed a stone and retaliated. Laura used her weight to pin Rocket down, locking his wrists, and we are truly grateful for those boxing lessons from years ago, as they came in very handy. She pressed his face into the mud, not letting him up until she felt him go limp, and then it hit her. She had just killed someone. Staring at the lifeless body, Laura was shocked. She realized she had just become a killer at the tender age of 21. Suddenly, she spotted a shadow nearby. The figure turned and bolted as soon as they locked eyes. She thought the shadow looked familiar and dashed after it. The figure sprinted to the beach, grabbing a rope to climb a cliff, and Laura gave it her all to keep up. But the rope was yanked away by the mystery person. Laura was really eager to see who they were. She finally scaled the cliff and got a good look at the person. She was right, it was her dad, Richard. Surprised yet a bit loopy. He wasn't dead, but appeared somewhat eager of age, exhibiting unusual behavior. Until Laura showed him a unique piece of jewelry he had once given her. Only then did he realize the girl before him was his daughter. They hadn't seen each other in 7 years. In that moment, Laura finally let her guard down, collapsing in her father's embrace. Richard was meticulously taking care of Laura's wounds. And as a concerned dad, his first question was about whether she attended Oxford or Cambridge. Because let's face it, worldwide, parents are always most concerned about their kids' education. Laura felt a twinge of bitterness, having left home at a young age, and now 7 years zoomed by. Richard explained he did this to keep Trinity from finding the tomb. Good thing he had faked his death to hide, and even instructed Laura to burn all related notes and files thoroughly. This way Matthews and his crew would never find the tomb. But when he learned his silly daughter willingly gave Matthews her notebook, he was furious. All those 7 years of hard work have gone to waste. He thought Laura shouldn't be there at all, while Laura believed they could team up to stop Matthews from entering the tomb. However, Richard had been utterly spooked by Matthews' troops, and father and daughter stood no chance against enemies like him. However, that didn't deter the young and headstrong Laura in the slightest. Spotting her trusty bow and arrow, which she excels at, in the corner, she decided to gear up and confront Matthews all by herself. Laura sprinted her way through the jungle, enduring numerous hardships, finally arriving at Matthews' camp. She stealthily infiltrated, locating the guards' positions. She took out one guard and signaled for the workers to escape quickly. Just then, the guards spotted Lara and her companions and immediately opened fire on them. To help her buddies escape, Lara displayed her top-notch archery skills. Moving swiftly, shooting arrows like a rainbow, every shot a hit. Just as Lara was about to leave, she spotted Richard at the tomb entrance. She had no choice but to give chase. Why did she have to have a troublesome dad? Richard was entranced by the tomb's mechanisms, completely unaware Matthews had snuck up behind him. Matthews exerted pressure on Richard to unlock the main door. But Richard firmly refused. He was about to be shot by Matthews' henchman. An arrow struck the henchman. It was Lara to the rescue. Matthews aimed at Richard's head, threatening Lara to force her dad to unlock the door, or else he'd shoot Richard. After all, who would let their one and only dad die? Lara reluctantly lowered her bow and prepared to open the door herself. Having figured out how to unlock the tomb door beforehand on the boat, she had made full preparations. She began turning the mechanisms on the door one by one. With a thunderous crash, the stone wall shattered, revealing a passageway to the underground. The group cautiously entered the enigmatic underground palace. As they were making their way forward Lara inadvertently stepped on a pressure plate unknowingly, causing a wave of panic to sweep through the group as they feared traps would suddenly spring. A bearded guy mocked his friends for being scared, and the next moment, a series of endless crises began to unfold. The crew lamented, if only we had called in those 3 Chinese experts. Lara noticed the presence of a deep pit located ahead. When Matthias decided to toss a torch into it, the crew finally saw clearly that the deep pit was actually filled with countless skeletons. Clearly, countless individuals had met their fate here. As Matthias' men constructed a sturdy iron bridge spanning over the pit, the group ventured further into the depths of the palace, seeking the unknown. When they finally reached the corridor that was leading to the entrance, Richard spotted an inscription carved into a stone pillar, which reads, "The Queen of Death transforms daylight into darkness. Only through death can new life and hope be brought forth." Just then, a tiny figure stepped on a pressure plate, triggering massive stones to close off the corridor. Subsequently, the iron plates on the ground began to fall off one by one continuously. Lara narrowly escaped from tumbling into an extremely deep abyss. Surely, there must be a way to break through this challenge. Lara cast her gaze upon the devices positioned on the door. At this moment, a long-forgotten trick that she had learned several years ago unexpectedly flickered across her mind. At just the precise moment, she sprang into action decisively. A beam of light shot out as she disabled the mechanism. The heavy door began to creak open slowly. The group let out a collective sigh of relief, with expressions of ease appearing on their faces. They could finally safeguard their lives and keep them intact. Lara thought, "This scene before me is absolutely breathtaking." It was indeed a marvel of the ancient tomb, absolutely breathtaking, taking in the absolutely stunning surroundings with awe. And all of a sudden, she felt hopeful and optimistic about her future. However, at that very moment, Matthias' scheme was still very much underway, and he was secretly plotting something behind the scenes. So everyone absolutely needed to stay on high alert. Lara swore to herself, this time he'll stop his evil plan for good. As long as she was still around, nothing negative was going to transpire. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss my new content.